Hi and welcome to our video tutorial for ProposalPoint. In this tutorial, I'm going to run you through the setup of a new proposal, and in some earlier tutorials, I'll show you how to set up your settings in ProposalPoint as well. But this ProposalPoint tutorial is purely focused on creating a new proposal. So this is an example of a ProposalPoint proposal that's been made as a sort of dummy version for you to have a look at. I'm going to jump into the client-facing view. So you'll receive a login link, and that will be provided by your project manager, and they'll give you a login username and a password, and you just simply have to type it into this little interface and click on login, and it will take you to the user dashboard. So here you can see there's a series of tabs down the left-hand side, and the one we want to tick or select today to create a proposal is the proposal tab. So click on that, and you'll see some proposals that have been made previously. Again, these are all tests that we use for demonstration purposes, but if it's the first time that you've used this, you'll probably only see one or perhaps even none, depending on the situation. So over time, of course, you'll see a large library of proposals as you start to make more and more. But to create a new one, you just simply click on the Add New option. You can either do that here on the side, or you can do it up here where it says Add New. So click on that, and it will take you into a proposal. So I'm going to jump out though and show you one of the ones that have been created initially, so that all the settings are filled in and you can see how it would look. I'm going to use this one here because this is the one that directly correlates to the live example that I'll have to reference as I talk you through this demonstration. So you'll have a template selection option here, which usually there'll just be one, but if you're having multiple templates, like you might have a pre-listing kit, which we call an information brochure, or you might have a full sales proposal only, or you might have two versions of the sales proposal depending on the marketing campaign calendar components that you want included. But generally you'll just see one or two in this option. So you just select the template you want. You pop the property address in here where it says property address, and the proposal name will default to whatever the template is, say information brochure, and then it will add the address. And you can overwrite this if you want to put something else. You might want to put something that is a little bit more bespoke. So it could say something like sales appraisal for John and Jenny Smith of 73 Warara Avenue. So you can overwrite this, but by default it will present this information for you. Now the listing agent, you will need to choose this because this is what ends up noting who the proposal is from, which is quite important. This one is just a demo, it hasn't got anyone selected, but you would select a particular agent, obviously yourself, if it's you that's preparing it on your own behalf, or if you're an EA to an agent, then you would select the agent's listing details here. This section here where it says prepared for, this is focused on the vendor. So I've put two in here, John Smith and Mary Smith. If there were more people, you could obviously add them as an addition. Then this is all pretty straightforward kind of stuff here. We've got the property details, so number of bedrooms, parking, bathroom, garage, etc. The land size, the house type, or the property type I should say, the zoning, when it was built, and an estimated price range. You can also add photographs. So you can have one image, or you can upload multiple images, and it will then turn it into a montage of photographs. So you can have just the one, or you can add more if you've been able to secure some photos. It's harder during a pre-listing kit to do this, obviously, because you haven't been to the property, but certainly as a full sales appraisal, you would be able to probably have some photos to include in the presentation document. Then on to some recent sales. You can select, we've got some here pre-selected. You can add more if you want to, just by ticking the box over on this side, and it will transfer it to this side. Support teams, you can choose to select members of your team that you want to display on the proposal, and I'll show you where that would come up in the proposal itself. So you've got your sales team here, And then you've got your support team can come up here. And so this is where you can select, we want to have these 4 people here. You can have more if you like, or less, of course, if you prefer, but you just select them just by ticking the boxes here. Now, the marketing recommendations are to do with this section here. And you can choose the different marketing recommendations that you want to select, which in the back end look like this. So you can deselect them if you don't want to make, a recommendation of a virtual tour, for example. You can deselect that, and that will be then hidden from the proposal. Then the testimonials, you can choose to select from the pre-entered testimonials that you've provided, and we talk about that in the settings area. But I'll go into a new one, and I'll just quickly scroll down so you can see the testimonial selections here. So these are some essential marketing elements, which again, exactly the same as the marketing recommendations. You can deselect if you want to, and you can also add additional items if you would like to as well. The testimonials will populate, here we go, would populate here, and so would the references. So the references look like this, when you've got the phone number and a person's name, and then the testimonials present like this. They're a bit more detailed with more information about your fantastic service. So they would populate here. We've got also some feed data that comes in through here. You can either add these items manually, or they can be pulled in from your CRM depending on your preference. Additional marketing items can be presented here as well. So it's quite quick to make a proposal once you've set up all your settings correctly. And once you've got everything entered into the proposal side of things, you just need to come over here on the right-hand side, and you've got some other settings you just need to make a decision on. You can set a reminder notification to go out in a period of number of weeks. You can choose a campaign calendar as a default and put the end date there. You can choose to be notified when a proposal is viewed, which generally you would want to know that. You can choose to put an expiry date on the proposal if you want to. Most often people don't, but if you do want to have a timestamp on it that's based around, a commission incentive or something like that you want to put some date parameters around, then you can do that via this little section here. And then you've got your method of sale that you've selected, whether it be auction, private treaty, and then you've got, again, the person that's created the proposal can be selected here as the author. So once you've done all that, you can preview it, or if you're happy with everything, you can just simply publish it. And then once it's published, you'll be able to view it. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's have a look at one here that's published already. And if I wanted to have a look at it, you just go preview changes, and it will show you the URL of the pure presentation. So you can then, once it's published, you can then share it with the vendors, either via text or via email if you prefer. These can be printed out, of course, and left with the vendors. And they've got then a hard copy and a digital copy that they can forward on to their family or friends, as the case may be. But once all the parameters are set up, the creation of this proposal document is actually really, really easy, and it shouldn't take you more than a few minutes once you've got all of your photographs and everything in order. But it's quite a straightforward process. It's much faster than having to do things the old-fashioned way. So that is how you create a ProposalPoint proposal. Please do refer to our subsequent tutorials on the settings components, because that's a really important element of getting all of this other information in order before you create your first proposal. So please reference that video as well.